Hi everyone, I'm going to give a tutorial really quick on perfecting the face with Kevyn Aucoin. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need to do is make sure you don't have any makeup. So just start with a cleansed palette. And as you can see, I've got hormonal skin, so what does that mean? It means every once in a while I have a breakout like this, but one of the things that I love about Kevyn Aucoin is it's a full coverage foundation. You can wipe anything out. You just have to find your shades. In my next tutorial, I'll explain more in depth a little bit about Kevyn Aucoin and how they do shading for different tones. Usually I am Bobby Brown 4 or 4.25. In MAC, I'm NC 40, NC 35, or NC 42, depending on the summer how tan I get. I can get darker to really light. Alright, so first things first, my face is clean. The next step you want to do is pick a moisturizer that's good for you. I'm using Declior Aroma Purette, which is really lightweight, doesn't cause people with sensitive skin to really break out. It's a great product. And it's good for people that have combination oily skin, I find. So I am going to just put a little bit on my hand and put that all the way around. Okay. And as you can see, I am pretty broken out. This is not my best day for skin. So after you put your moisturizer on, the next step you're going to do is go and do one of Kevyn Aucoin's tinted Prime Skin Developer. Let me show you that one. And it comes in two formulas, normal to oily or normal to dry. I'm actually going to use the normal to dry, however, it's more moisturizing, plumping for any fine lines that are on the face. It helps create a nice, supple, dewy, plumped up complexion. And it helps to reduce redness too, which is really great. So I'm just putting a little bit on my hand. So you can see, that's it. Alright, and then I'm going to put that all over my face. Start with a nice complexion. Now you can use the primer to thin out his sensual skin enhancers, but I've done it that way, but I'm going to show you my way of turning his sensual skin enhancers into a tinted moisturizer with using my favorite products. Okay, so once you have your primer on, it feels really nice, it smells really nice. It's really nice for the skin. The next thing I'm going to do is go and get my Kevyn Aucoin foundation brush. This is sick. This is a really awesome, amazing blending brush. It's got dense bristles. Every makeup artist should have something like this in your kit, for sure. His foundation brush. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, this is all about no rules for Kevyn Aucoin. That's one of the things that they taught us in school, is that everybody's perfect foundation is kind of up to you. It's about finding the right skin tone, it's about finding the right texture that fits you. The ideal was to make it as natural as possible without looking like cake makeup, which, if that's the look you're going for, if you're in theater and this makeup would be great for you, you can use it straight up the way it is. If you have really oily skin, you can use it straight up too. Unfortunately, because people like me, most people that I find are normal to oily or normal to dry, combination, every which way, so for me I prefer not to use it straight up. So what I'm going to do is go back in and take my Declior Aroma Purette moisturizer and I'm going to take about that size, really small, right? And I'm going to put this on the back of my hand. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I want to create a glowy foundation. So what I'm going to mix is the Celestial Skin Liquid Lighting. And what this does is it adds a little bit of mica and makes your, like that JLo glow, a glowy foundation. Tons of companies have what's called luminous foundation. You can achieve the same thing with the Sensual Skin Enhancers with adding a product like this. It's really nice. And as you can see, it gives you like a goldy little tone to it. Alright, so from here, the next thing I'm going to do is add my colors. Now, I really mix. If I wanted to pick one, I would say that I'd be SX10 because it's a little bit of a neutral. In the wintertime, I'm SX6 or 7. I like to add a little bit of yellow tone. I change my hair color all the time. You know, it's mixing with the tone a little bit. But SX10 would work if I had to choose one. I'll show you. And this is his little pod, really small. Doesn't fall out. It's really condensed. He got his idea from geisha makeup in Japan. He said, how cool is that? They have perfect complexions no matter what they look like. How is that possible? So he created a formula that would give everyone perfect skin. Wipes everything out, combats with the natural oils in your skin to give you that overall flawless appearance that everybody's searching for and not everybody has. So, this is SX10. I want to be a little bit darker today. So what I'm going to do is use a little bit of SX11, which is less of a neutral and more of a goldy tone. And I'm only going to use a dot of that just to change the tone. And as the under eye concealer, I am using SX3, which to me is kind of a neutral. I could probably do SX4, which is a little more on that yellowy tone, but I really want to lighten and brighten my eyes. As you can see, it's not looking so great, so I need a little extra TLC. So here we go. I am going to take a Q-tip because that's all you need to apply product. It's very condensed, very pigmented foundation. As I feel like I'm repeating myself, but it's true. It is. Let's see. So I'm going to use the majority of my foundation. Okay, is going to be SX10, and I'm going to put that on the back of my hand. One little dot of SX11. And just to prevent me from getting too dark and still keeping with a little bit of that goldeny yellow tone, I'm going to go back in with SX7, which is right next to 6, but it gives a little more of a yellow tone and less pink to the skin. And then that'll prevent me from going too dark. So it seems really complex and crazy, but as you can see, I have my moisturizer, a little bit of the glow. I have about 3 tones here, just to kind of combine. And I'm going to mix it all on the back of my hand. And if you feel like it's still too thick, which you can kind of see the consistency all in all, you can go back in and just get a little more moisturizer and just kind of put that out there and mix it together so you're shearing it down. Alright, so what I do is I take my foundation brush and my foundation, and I'm just going to stipple it, and then I'm going to start with the center of the face, because that's usually, on most people, with my complexion shades, that's where the majority of the redness is on most people's faces. Broken capillaries, pores, etc., etc. So I'm just going to go in and kind of work it out. I go right over my lips. And then I'm going to go up here. And as you can see, slowly but surely, all of that craziness that was going on in my face is slowly coming off. And If you still see a little bit of redness, you can still see a few of the little guys coming through still. You're going to go with the lighter shade. And I'm going to go straight up. Okay, so you can kind of see what's going on. I still have this over here and a little bit of this going on. But my overall, if you can see, it's still very sheer and dewy because the skin was already prepped with a little bit of the the primer. So it still gives you that dewy skin glow. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do, just to conceal a little bit more, I'm going to go back to my lightest color, the number 3, and I'm actually going to use it straight up, so I can show you how much pigment you are getting. And I'm going to put this on the back of my hand. And I'm just taking that number 3, right, much lighter, and I'm going over what I see coming through the foundation. And I'll tell you people, a dab does ya. Okay, so, and then this bad boy over here. Okay. Alright, so from here, you can either take your finger, you can go back and take your brush, or you can go back in and use the Blender Concealer Brush by Kevyn. It's like the tiny version of the big foundation brush. Still equally as dense, but you can definitely go back in and get rid of those little spots. So I'm going in, and it's still a little bit lighter. Go back in with your finger and kind of blend this out. And one of the things that I really like about Kevyn's whole line for the Central Skin is that it's transfer resistant. So the things that you're trying to hide, you know, you're going to walk up to people and they're going to go, wow, your skin looks flawless. That's what you want everybody to think. But at the same time, you don't want everyone to think you have a ton of makeup on. That was his whole purpose. And the same thing goes for up here, as you can see. I'm taking my concealer brush. Okay, and then just go around on the outside and kind of stipple your finger around and blend that out. And voila, like it was never there. Thanks for joining me, and come back again next time for my next makeup tutorial.